Living with Diabetes Ask the Expert series. Today's topic is healthy eating, exercising, and traveling during the holidays. My name is Carla Cox, Diabetes Care and Education Specialist, Registered Dietitian Nutritionist, and your host for today's program. Our Ask the Expert series is all about answering questions from our listeners, so start getting your questions ready now. For those of you on the phone, press *3, that's *3 on your keypad, and an operator will collect your question and place you in the queue so that you can have the opportunity to ask your question live. To participate online, type in your name and question in the fields below the streaming player. Press the Submit Question button, and your question will come directly to us. Stay with us through the hour, and you will learn useful tips to help you live well on your journey with diabetes. In addition, we invite you to provide us with your feedback in a survey at the end of the event, so please stay with us. Okay, now a little bit about why we're here today. Because of the link between diabetes and heart health, the American Diabetes Association, in collaboration with the American Heart Association, has launched No Diabetes by Heart. With support from founding sponsor Novo Nordisk, as well as national sponsor Bayer, the No Diabetes by Heart initiative provides tools and resources for people living with type 2 diabetes to learn how to reduce their risk of developing cardiovascular disease. As part of the initiative, the ADA is holding this free educational Q&A once a month. We'll cover information and tips to help you take charge of your health. When you have diabetes, it increases your risk of heart disease and stroke. Make sure when you see your doctor, you talk about your risk and work towards prevention. Okay, I am happy to introduce our guest speaker today, Teresa Pearson. Teresa is a clinical nurse specialist and certified diabetes care and education specialist with over 30 years of experience in clinical diabetes. She's the lead diabetes specialist for St. Mary's Health Services in Minneapolis and consults with care systems regarding clinical quality improvement in diabetes care. She also serves on numerous boards and committees for the ADCES and ADA, the Minnesota Department of Health, as well as national and international advisory boards for a variety of diabetes-related organizations. Teresa is a frequent guest speaker and author. She has received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the state of Minnesota and the 2019 Distinguished Service Award from the Association of Diabetes Care and Education Specialists. We're so delighted to have her. So do you want to add any more lines, Teresa, to that?
Oh, thank you, Carla. No, I don't think I really need to add any lines to that. I'm just really happy to be here and hope that I can answer your questions. I've been in this, I don't remember if in my introduction it said how long I've been doing this work, but basically it's been about 30 years. So I've seen a lot of changes in that time with diabetes. And for those of you out there who have diabetes, and if you've had it for a really long time, I'm sure you've seen changes as well. So we've really made some significant progress in that time, and it's been really an exciting time. So I'm excited here to answer whatever questions you might have about what to do now as we approach the holidays.
Thank you. As we are waiting for our callers and online listeners to chime in, I'm going to go ahead and kick off with the first question. The holidays are always challenging for healthy eating and exercise for everyone. How does that differ, or does it, for someone with diabetes?
Well, yes, I totally agree that the holidays are always a difficult time for people in general, because we always worry about we're going to eat too much. Every place we go, there's always food, and it's always goodies that we normally wouldn't eat. I know for myself that my schedule is always packed with a variety of things, whether it's going to see my grandchildren at their programs at school where they always have goodies, or you go to a neighborhood party or family gatherings, and it's hard. It's really hard to stay away from or try to stick to what you think might be your usual eating patterns, healthy eating patterns. So it's a tough time for anybody. But you add diabetes to it, now you're trying to keep your blood sugars between that, not going too low and not going too high kind of thing. And it adds an additional struggle. So then what you end up having to do is to make choices, unless you decide that you're just going to let yourself go high on a day, or for 6 weeks. 6 weeks is a long time to let yourself just go high, right? So that's not the safe thing to do. So it's really kind of looking at what are your medications, how do you manage your diabetes as a rule, and then how do you adapt to whatever's going on around you, because typically you don't have the choice of the timing of all of these activities. And so as you look at what your activities might be on a particular day, like for example, I just had a neighborhood party last Sunday night. It was in the evening and there were all kinds of goodies there. And normally I don't eat that much at night. So what do you do when you have diabetes and you walk in and you go, I didn't really plan for all of this. So now I'm having to make a choice, not eat what's there, whatever. So there's lots of choices to be made. So I do want to, before I continue anymore, I want to find out what particular questions that people have um, about that, because your challenge is trying to how to manage your blood sugars during all those activities.
Absolutely. Thank you. If you're just joining us, welcome to today's Ask the Experts Q&A, healthy eating, exercising, and traveling during the holidays. As a reminder, for those of you on the phone, press star 3, that's star 3, on your keypad, and an operator will collect your question and place you in the queue so that you can have the opportunity to ask your questions of Teresa live. To participate online, type in your name and question in the fields below the streaming player. Press the Submit Question button, and your question will come directly to us. Remember, today's topic is healthy eating, exercising, and traveling during the holidays. Let's remember to focus on that topic for today's event. Okay, we're going to go live, and we'll start with Grace. And Grace is from Englewood, New Jersey. Grace, you're on the line.
Hi. Yes, I would like to know. I've lost my taste buds. I've had diabetes too for many years. Never did lose my taste buds. But lately, the last 2 months, I can't taste my food. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I would ask is, have you had COVID? And sometimes people have had COVID and they don't know it because they didn't get sick enough. That would be my first question. Sometimes some of the medications that you're taking, I don't know if you've had a change in your medications, might affect your taste, but I can't really think of anything in particular that should do that. So we're right now in the last couple of years, we've been in this phase of COVID, and my guess is, and from what the experts have said, that many of us have had COVID even without even knowing. So that's one thing that's what I would think about. I'm not sure, but I can't think of why diabetes should cause that for you.
I totally agree. I think you've got it. So something to consider, and certainly mention it to your doctor and see if there's anything else
Yeah.
that individual might consider. Okay, we have
Yes.
another call in on Paula. Paula's from Colorado, and Paula, you're on the line.
Yes, I have. I've had diabetes for many years, and I just want to know if I travel by plane, is it advisable for me to carry a travel letter so that TSA knows that I have certain equipment that I need and I carry food and things? Is it necessary for me to have a written letter so that TSA knows why it's difficult to be screened for me?
So TSA is actually pretty good about diabetes equipment, but I think it's not a bad idea just in case you come across an agent who perhaps does question why you have that. In fact, because I do a lot of presentations, I one time was carrying about 50 insulin pens with me for a workshop I was doing, and nobody asked me anything. I had them, so I was kind of surprised. I figured that many, it would register some sort of a comment, but they didn't ask anything. But it's always better safe than sorry, right? So bring a letter. I would also recommend, I'm guessing this is why you're asking, is that you bring everything in your carry-on luggage and not in your checked luggage. So you've got all your medications with you and your food. Now you may still get a question about liquids. So if your food is solid, and meets the TSA requirements in that respect, it shouldn't be an issue. Most people bring, or I should say many people bring snacks anyway. If for whatever reason you need a particular liquid, I would get a, a letter about that. I can't think of anything. Were there particular liquids that you were thinking about needing to bring? If that's the case, you should probably get special permission. But any other snack shouldn't be an issue.
Thank you. So I have a question coming in from Ronnie, and Ronnie is from New Jersey. Ronnie, you're on the line.
Okay. My question is, on the packages where it says nutritional facts, there's a line that says total sugars, and then it also includes added sugars. And I'm trying to see what range should we stay in for these total sugars and added sugars. So if the range should be, say, from 7 to 10, and then maybe the added sugars might be from 1 to 3, does that, and the total we might need to stay in is 10. That would take us over the total sugars that we need for that particular item. So I'm trying to just get a range of.
Yeah, that's confusing, isn't it? It's always confusing. I typically tell my patients to just look at the total carbohydrates and then to check what their blood sugar is before and after they eat that food to see how it impacts their blood sugar, because that's really what we're concerned about, right? And so the added sugars, without looking at the particular label, it could be, there could be like cornstarch and other, that type of sugar, fructose, dextrose, all of those types of sugars, or it could be just regular table sugar. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's these other types of sugars. But you really want to find out how that particular food is affecting you. If you are counting your carbohydrates, which is why I'm guessing you're asking this question, then you probably have a certain amount that you've received from your diabetes care and education specialist or from a dietitian who has told you, here are the amounts of carbohydrates to stay within per meal, and probably have given you a range. That's generally a pretty individualized amount. So I would suggest that you talk to your dietitian or your educator about how many carbohydrates you should have at a meal. I know for myself, when I'm working with patients, most of the time they're not getting that detailed in counting carbs. They're more about, as you said, a range. So the two key points are, one, how does that particular food affect your blood glucose, yours personally? And then, so check your blood glucose before and after, like an hour to 2.5 to 2 hours afterwards, after eating that sugar, and then, or that food. And then discuss with your educator and your dietitian about how many carbs you should be having at a meal.
Great, thanks. Okay, we have a question coming in from Rosie from Cleveland, Ohio. Rosie, you're on the line.
Hi, Rosie.
Oh, yes. The same question I asked the one before me was answered that question because I was trying to see how much, like if I ate a slice of pie, how much would amount of sugar that I could have. So the question was really answered. I would check 2 hours before and 2 hours after.
Well, if you're going to check before and after, I would check right before you eat, not 2 hours. But the pie, if you want to know how a particular pie is, that's going to affect your blood glucose, that is a good way to check, right before and then about an hour and a half, sort of somewhere an hour and a half plus or minus afterwards, to see how much your blood sugars rise. And it's going to vary. I mean, if you have a pecan pie versus apple pie or pumpkin pie, they're all going to be a little bit different. and in the recipes, how much sugar is in there versus not. They're all going to be different. So it's really hard to say how much sugar is in a particular pie. And if it's something that's homemade, you'll know exactly how much goes into that pie, and you divide it by the number of pieces you cut it up and say, okay, I had 1/6 of the pie. So the amount of sugar and flour and everything else, which are all of your carbohydrates, you would divide by 6 to determine how much of that is in one piece of pie. But yes, if you want to know how it's going to affect your blood glucose, you want to check before and after, just to find out. And if you are somebody who's doing carb counting, if you know how much carbohydrate is in that, and you're taking insulin, you can add short-acting insulin to sort of cover it, just a few units. But that's something you should talk to your provider, your educator, or your dietitian about, to determine how much you should use to cover for a piece of pie, for example.
So she actually had in her question that was written down that was a very practical question that applies to all, and that is, how big a piece of pie can you have? So
wow.
There you go. What's a practical kind of average for people with diabetes?
I would probably 1/6 of the pie is probably even too big. I would say maybe 1/8 of the pie. But I'm also one of those persons who says make a choice, right? So if you had dinner and dinner was sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes and a bunch of other things, and you knew that you wanted to have the pie, and you could skip some of those other carbohydrates at your meal to have your pie, to just so you're making choices about where you're going to spend your carbohydrates and your calories. And that would include bread and any other things that might be a carbohydrate food that you're having that have a lot of sugar. So, it's really hard to say. I would say, maybe 1/8 of the pie instead. But again, it's about making choices. And if that pie is so important to you, maybe you're going to give up everything else in order to have that. Just know that your blood sugar is probably going to go up. And that's something that you have to say, can I manage it? Can I get it back under control right away? Following the pie, make sure that I'm going back to the way I should be eating afterwards, or done everything, and don't starve yourself. That's the other thing. We sometimes starve ourselves knowing that we're going to eat a lot, or there's something like, I don't know what your favorite pie is, but there's something like that there that you want to make sure that you're going to eat, that you maybe have some vegetables and something that's going to be pretty low calorie but high nutrition prior to, early in the day, and then you get to the dinner so you're not starving, and then you can sort of make your choices from there and make sure that you sort of prioritize what are the most important things when you look at all these foods. What are the things you really want to have, the things that maybe you don't get otherwise?
Yeah, I like that answer. It is all about questions about balance, I guess.
Yes.
Kind of looking at what you're choosing. I think one of the challenges always is you eat your dinner and think that's it, and then they bring out this fabulous dessert. So that always makes it a little tough. And I think sometimes you just have to say, oh, well, my blood sugar is going to go up a bit. I just need to, especially if you're on insulin, I just need to adjust my insulin. Yeah. Or take a walk afterwards. That'll help too.
Take a walk. So. Yes, we haven't talked about that yet, but definitely taking a walk would be a great thing to do after. Especially, just a great family activity to just say, hey, let's go out and take a walk. So I'm from Minnesota, and I don't mind taking a walk in the winter either. So it's getting that fresh air is always nice.
Yeah, we've got a lot of snow here today, so it'd be taking a snowshoe, but same idea. So,
anyway, yes.
Yeah. So we have an online question coming in from Cindy. It's a great one. We're going to stay in a condo for 4 days and need to bring our own food. What would be simple, easy prepared foods to bring for 4 people, one who has diabetes?
Well, again, I mean, it's making sure that you've got plenty of fruits and vegetables. I always, whether I'm at home or other places, and we've done this as a family. We've rented a place one time with 12 of us. We all rented and stayed at the same place, and we always have a little bowl of fruit sitting on the counter. So if anybody wants a snack, we go for a fruit instead of looking for some other more high calorie, not probably as nutritious kind of food. And then when it comes time to meals, the way we handle it, and I've suggested this to some of my patients who do similar things, is to say, everybody get together and say who's going to bring what, and talking about the fact that one person has diabetes, but guess what? Not everybody else doesn't need to be eating really high fat foods either. So how can we make sure that we've got some really good foods that everybody's going to enjoy, that are not going to be really high fat, because they're going to make you tired and sluggish, and you want to be able to enjoy your time together. So it's not always just about the diabetes. Then some of it is. And when you talk about, so you want to have some desserts, there are some desserts that are not as, you don't have to go as high calorie. I mean, interestingly, around the holidays here, my family loves sweet potatoes. You know, the sweet potatoes with all the cream and the brown sugar on top and the marshmallows and blah, blah, blah. Well, I found a low calorie recipe, probably cuts the calories in half. And I told nobody, and nobody noticed. They all loved it. And I thought, see, we can create these same favorite things with fewer calories. So you just go online. You can find almost any recipe online these days, and find one that says, okay, I want to make my favorite, whatever it might be. And I want to make this, and I want to cut the calories. So what are some low calorie ways of creating this? We do a lot of, when we do this as a family, we prepare our foods ahead of time. So we do things like turkey chili, white bean turkey chili, which is also prepared in a low calorie way, and things like that that are warm and cozy, but also not super high fat. And if you do it that way, then the person with diabetes can eat the same as everyone else, except the person with diabetes will have to think about, am I eating too many carbs or whatever, if that's your concern. But to be honest, if you're preparing healthy meals for everyone, it should work for the person with diabetes as well.
Great. And there are a number of frozen items now that are reasonable in balance, that if you're looking for something quick and easy while you're at condo, that you can kind of look through the frozen section of your grocery store and find things that have some lean meats in them, and then you could just add some vegetables or some fruit to it. Mm-hmm. So lots of options out there. Yep. Okay, I love this question because it's coming back to something you had said earlier. This is coming in from Marjorie, and Marjorie, you're on the line.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Marjorie.
No. What? Can you hear me?
Yes.
No? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I like this idea of figuring out exactly what food is doing what, but I never eat, and to get control, which I really want, I only eat meals or snacks if my blood sugar dictates that I'm supposed to. So then that means there are a whole bunch of different foods there. And how do I figure out which one is the culprit, or whether it's that this one just added a little bit more and that tipped the scales? You understand what I'm saying? Isolate the variables. That's a scientific principle.
Right.
If I'm eating a meal, there's all sorts of stuff in there, and I mean, it not tipped the scales, but pushed the blood sugar over and made me have a bad situation.
Well, I think first you look at them and at what's in your meal and say, what is a carbohydrate versus what's a protein and what's a fat, because it's typically going to be the carbohydrate that's pushing you over. So that could be pasta, it could be potatoes, it could be rice, it could be bread, it could be anything like that is a carbohydrate. It's not just sugar, right? It's any kind of carbohydrate. So let's say you're eating a stew, for example, because that's got a lot of things in it. Generally has some meat in it, generally has some vegetables, and some of those vegetables are going to be carbohydrates, like potatoes, for example. And then there'll be the broth, and there's probably some either olive oil or whatever you use to braise your meat or things like that. So in a stew or any other kind of mixed meal, it's probably going to be the culprit's going to be your carbohydrate. And then you look at how much is in there. So let's say if you were going to have that stew again, you're going to make it again, you could maybe put less potato in there and more other vegetables like green beans or other types of vegetables. Even carrots would be less than the potato. So kind of looking at what's in the mixed meal. Most of the time we are eating mixed meals. It's pretty rare that we just sit down and have a plate of meat, or we just have, probably we're more often, if we're just going to have one macronutrient in a meal, it would be carbohydrates. Like for breakfast, oftentimes people might have cereal and toast and orange juice. So those are all carbohydrates. But if you have eggs and bacon and toast, now you've got a mixed meal, and then you add some orange juice or a piece of fruit to that. Now you have a mixed meal. And probably, the eggs are protein and the bacon is a protein. Or let's say you had some lean turkey sausage, that's a protein. But your toast is going to be the carbohydrate, or orange juice will be the carbohydrate. So then you say, all right, am I eating 4 ounces? Am I drinking 4 ounces of orange juice, or am I drinking 12 or 16 ounces of, because I've had patients tell me, I say, okay, how big is that glass? And by the time they show me, the glass looks like this. And I'm saying, wait a minute, let's focus on having maybe 12 ounces of orange juice, or have some fresh fruit, which will be more filling than the orange juice itself, and also fewer calories. So thinking about what of that meal is the culprit is really looking at where are the carbohydrates, most likely. Eventually, protein will elevate your blood glucose minimally and much later than carbohydrates. So carbohydrates tend to be the culprit. I hope that helps answer your question.
Okay, and then we have a question coming in from Margaret from Chicago, and she didn't want to be online, so I'm going to read her question. Could you address diabetes in general, for instance, when you get together with family over the holidays? How do you handle judgments from family members, avoiding get-togethers because of stress of the comments from other people? So kind of the emotional part.
Yeah, I get that. And that's an issue. And I'm going to tell you that as a diabetes educator, I have people who will feel guilty eating in front of me. And I say, no. There is no judgment. I have no judgment. And when I work with people and I work with their families, I will tell them, the person with diabetes doesn't need the diabetes police. And so you want to be free to be able to eat the way you want to eat without that judgment, right? It sort of depends on who it is that you're with. So if you're with your family, sometimes they can be the worst, unfortunately. Let's say it's your mother, or it's a spouse, or it's a sibling, or even one of your children who might say, really, mom or dad, do you really think you should be eating that? That's really, really hard. And maybe if you know that they're going to be that way, maybe you can talk to them ahead of time and say, this is a special occasion. You know that I don't normally eat this way, but because it's a special occasion, I may eat more than what I typically would. And I would appreciate if you not bug me about it. And that's probably a conversation you want to have separately if you know someone typically does that. Sometimes somebody sort of catches you off guard and it comes from out of the blue and you weren't expecting it. And that's probably pretty tough. But if it's somebody who's doing it all the time, even invite them to come and talk with your care team, either your provider or your educator or your dietitian, and just say, hey, can you help my spouse or my child, my son or my daughter or whomever this person is, to help them understand how I'm going to handle the holidays and have a conversation about that. And you know what, if it's an ongoing thing, let's say it is a spouse, they live in your house, you're in your house together and it happens all the time, then maybe you want to actually talk to a mental health provider about how to work together, because typically the reason that person is saying those things is because they care about you. and they care about you taking care of your health and that you're going to be around for them too. And they care about, making sure that you're going to stay healthy. So it comes from a caring place most of the time. And once they know or realize that it comes across as being hurtful, hopefully they can stop doing that. So that's a tough one. And I got to tell you, it's very common in all my 30 plus years of working in diabetes. That is not an uncommon thing to happen with people who love us. So I hope that you're able to handle that with your family or whomever that person is.
Thank you. If you're just joining us, welcome to today's Ask the Experts Q&A, healthy eating, exercising, and traveling during the holidays. As a reminder, for those of you on the phone, press *3, that's *3 on your keypad, and an operator will collect your question and place you in the queue so that you can have an opportunity to ask your question live. To participate online, type in your name and question in the fields below the streaming player. Press the Submit Question button, and your question will come directly to us. So let's get back to the questions that are rolling in. So one of them I thought was excellent. Here we go. This is kind of following that same feel, but this is Jamelia from Arizona.
Hello?
Jamila.
Yes,
you're on the line.
My question is, I have specific people, friends, and some family members who say, oh, this is really healthy for you. You need to try this. It's really, really good for you. And my question is, most of the stuff is not as healthy as they think it is for my diabetes. And I have tried in the past to explain to them that what might be healthy for them might not be healthy for me. So my question is, how do I combat this in a very nice way?
Yeah. So yes, it's somewhat related to the question we just had, right? When people try to tell you what to eat or tell you what to do. First, I think the first thing, again, because I think it's coming from a place of caring, caring about you, is to thank them and say, I really appreciate the suggestion. And then just say, I know from conversations I've had with my doctor or with my care team that that particular type of food, whatever it is, that's probably not something I should be eating. But like you said, but it might be okay for you. But I think the main thing is to first thank them for the suggestion, because understanding that they care about you, which is why they're making that suggestion to begin with. Just from a learning standpoint, a lot of times people will look at the front of a box and say, oh, look, this is really healthy. And we know that what I know, and Carla's a dietitian, I'm not, but what I typically say is that the front of the box is for marketing and the back of the box is really where you get your information. And you may want to say, here on the back, it says, here's how much carbohydrate is in here or how much fats or whatever it is that you're focused on, and saying, because of that, this is probably not going to be something that would be healthy for me. But like you said, it's healthy, could be healthy for that person, but in all likelihood, it may not be healthy for them either if they're just looking at the front. So sometimes it's a teachable moment. And if these are really close friends of yours, and this happens a lot, you may want to just say, here's what I've been told is how to read this label. And I know that when foods have this much carbohydrate or this much fats or whatever, that I should be avoiding those. And maybe they'll learn something from you. But make sure you say thank you first, because that's going to kind of catch them off guard, and you don't want to put them on the defense. And I think by acknowledging that you appreciate the suggestion and that they care about what you eat, I think that that will sort of soften the way they respond to your comments after that.
Thank you. So while we're on the emotional side of all this, I'm going to have Vishal from Seattle go online and ask the question.
Hi, thank you for the wonderful information. So just to kind of piggyback on the previous questions, and I do understand how you say to somebody about being a diabetes release is important. I wanted to also get into when you're traveling, we're going to Florida for, to see Orlando and, Harry Potter for my daughter and all that. And it's going to be really hard. I'm newly diagnosed type 2 diabetes and kind of trying to change my lifestyle. And I'm not sure how to handle 10 days of walking around and still eating like I'm at home. Not going to happen, but um, I'm trying to find, and the food is it's gonna be what you find at, at these places like Disney World, etc. How does one how does one plan for this?
Yeah. So if you're going to Disney World, you're going to get a lot of exercise, right? So you're probably going to be walking around a lot. So that's one positive. Now, I haven't been there in a long time, but from what I recall from the last time I went, um, that they've really done, and I have my kids have gone with my granddaughter, and they are now it might be hard to find, but they are making greater efforts at offering healthier foods. So you may have to look for those because clearly they still have the burgers and fries and fried chicken and things like that. That and this is a sad thing to say, but probably the lines are going to be shorter where they have the more healthy foods. I'm not sure. But I think if you actually prepare in advance, you're going to go online, check out the food, places to eat. Let's assume that you're going to spend a few days at Disneyland or Disney World. Yeah, Disney World is Florida, right? So assuming you're going to be spending several days there and kind of plan ahead. I mean, even if you're not going to Disney World, but you're going to be going to just a restaurant in the area, look online. Nearly every restaurant these days has their menu online and kind of plan ahead and say, okay, yeah, there are some things here. And don't be afraid to ask for things on the side. For example, if it says that it's smothered in some white sauce or whatever sauce, ask for it to be on the side because in all likelihood, if it's smothered in anything, it's probably not going to be very healthy. So dressings you can ask for dressings on the side. If you're going for a salad, make sure that if you go for the creamy salads that come in those packets, that they're going to be higher calorie than just say oil and vinegar. Or ask for a low calorie dressing, and then be careful of all the stuff that goes in that salad. If there's a lot of high fat things, lots of meats and cheeses, not that either of those are bad, but you just don't want to have a lot of them. So, and then even things like avocado is a healthy fat. But if you have a lot of it, or let's say you have sour cream on it, that's going to add calories. So just sort of plan ahead and think about how you can stick as close as possible, but don't be too hard on yourself. It sounds like this is supposed to be a vacation. It's family time. So give yourself, a little leeway one way or the other, knowing that you might be a little higher than you want to be. But whenever you have the opportunity to make some really healthy choices, then do that. And I firmly believe that the best way of doing that is to just look up the menus ahead of time. And so you can sort of plan. And then when you're at Disney World, you can say, okay, I know when we're at this part of the park, there's this place where we can go eat that has some healthy options. Let's go there. And kind of make your choices that way. You don't have to have burgers and fries and fried chicken all the time. Or even ice cream. They have ice cream. Believe me, I've been to Disney World a couple times. I know that there's a lot of good stuff there that's probably not good for you. But making those choices ahead of time helps.
And another option may be to eat less. So when they bring the plates in the U.S., we tend to provide us with so much food when we order. And so just leave half of it so that you get to have whatever you want, but you're eating less of it. That would be another option if you're worried about calories and carbs. Yeah.
Or even share.
Okay.
So maybe you can split with someone.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So this call comes in from Rich, but he didn't want to go online. I didn't want to go live. So, good question. How can exercise before or after a meal help with glucose levels?
Good question. So, if you go out beforehand, that can help with your glucoses. Although you want to make sure that your blood sugar is not too low. And depending upon what medications you're on, some medications cause blood sugars to go low, like insulin or sulfonylureas or whatever. A lot of the newer medications don't really cause it to go low. They just prevent it from going high. So you have less of an issue there. But it's afterwards that really you benefit, particularly if you eat a lot. So like we just finished up with Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving most people had big meals and whatever, and going out for a walk after that will actually help you burn those calories and prevent your glucoses from going up too high a couple hours after, instead of what is pretty common, particularly in my family, where people just plop in front of the TV and watch whatever football game is on. And then next thing you know, they're all falling asleep from that carb coma, we refer to it as. Go out and take a walk. And getting the fresh air and taking that walk is going to help you sort of manage those glucoses. So even if you did eat a little bit more than you had planned or what you would normally do, the walk will help in the whatever activity. Sometimes here, if it's after Christmas, we might be going ice skating because I'm in Minnesota. So something like that will actually help with bringing those glucoses down. So excellent way to help manage your glucose on these holidays.
Great. Thank you so much. This question is coming in from, she doesn't want to be brought on live either, you guys. So this came in from Beth from New Jersey. I wanted a simple definition of macronutrients in the diet. What do you mean by macronutrients?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I did use that word. Macronutrients are basically carbohydrates, proteins, or fats. And there's a lot of micronutrients, which are all the vitamins and minerals and so forth, zinc, B vitamins and so forth that are in our various foods as well. But when we just look at the overall macro, meaning big nutrients, is it a carbohydrate, is it a protein, or is it a fat? And most foods will fit into one of those categories. But then, as I said, when we sit down to a meal, most often we have a mix of those, whether it's actually in one mixed combination, like say, for example, a pasta dish might have all three, but you also might just have a piece of meat like a chicken breast and then some vegetables on the side, and then perhaps maybe a piece of bread, or it could be sweet potato as a starch or something like that. So, or starch and carbohydrates are essentially the same. So macronutrients basically refers to those three categories of foods: carbohydrate, protein, and fats.
Great, thank you. And then this kind of follows that question, and it comes in from Mary Ellen from New Jersey. Mary Ellen, you're on the line.
A lot of people from
Hi.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, you were mentioning fat before, which I think is connected with protein, and I thought you didn't have to worry about protein as long as you were keeping, like I was told, 45 grams of carbohydrates per meal, 3 carbs. So I don't really worry. I mean, I don't have fatty protein. I do a lot of chicken,
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little confused because it seemed to be connecting it with your sugar going high, but maybe I didn't hear it right.
No. Yeah, so I'm glad if that was confusing, I'm glad you asked the question. Proteins generally are not going to be the culprit if your blood sugars are going high, and neither will fat. But if you think about, I mean, even this program that we're doing here is sponsored by the American Diabetes Association and the American Heart Association. We know that diabetes and cardiovascular disease sort of travel together. And so when you think about making choices about your proteins, we're less concerned about glucose for those, but they were more concerned about, is it a healthy protein and fat or not? And you mentioned chicken breast is very healthy. We're not saying never eat beef, but you want to probably eat that in moderation or even less. So you want to have more fish and chicken, turkey, things like that, fewer processed meats. And then also in terms of fats, because sometimes we prepare our meats with some kind of fat, whether it's olive oil or whatever, you want to minimize that. So baking things as opposed to frying them would be a better way to make that. But it's not going to raise your blood sugars. It's more, they were more worried about your cholesterol, or lipids, as your doctor might refer to them as lipids, but it's your cholesterol that we're really worried about in your heart. So we want to make sure that you're taking care of your heart at the same time as you're taking care of your diabetes. So when it comes to glucose, we're most worried about the carbohydrates. So as you mentioned, you've been given a number for the amount of carbohydrates per meal, and that's very appropriate to be given a number. You're probably, then you have to fill in the rest of your meal with the proteins and fats, and hopefully you're making healthy choices about what proteins and fats you're choosing.
Well, and another thing to think about that you may have been referring to is if you eat a lot of protein, it still can, some of that can break down and still create an elevation in your blood glucose. So it's not nearly the rapid rise or the amount of rise of eating the same amount of carbohydrate. But for example, if you went out for a huge steak at some steakhouse, that still could have an impact on your blood glucose. So you just need to be moderate about all things. Yeah. Okay, we have a call coming in from Michelle from Long Island, New York. Michelle, you're on the line.
Okay, hi.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. I have a question that I don't know that would affect a lot of people, but I'm just always looking for answers. I have another disease. Well, I have quite a few, but I have another disease with my diabetes, and that's multiple sclerosis. And I've had it for more than 40 years, so it's quite advanced. And I'm older, so it's also taken a toll. But now I can't walk and I can't even stand. So my problem is not so much with what I'm eating. I can manage that. It's just that I can't exercise. Not really. I mean, I do things that I can do with my arms and, stretching and using elastics and lifting weights, stuff like that, to keep my muscle tone in my arms, because that's all I really have left to rely on. But I noticed also that my one arm is getting weaker and weaker despite what I could do. And throughout my life of having the disease, I also worked on my leg exercises and rode bikes and walked and all that jazz. So, but, still it debilitated me and I no longer can walk today. Is there any other miracle has happened that I might not have heard of? That a machine or something that I could get?
You know what? And I don't know if you would qualify for this in terms of coverage with your insurance plan, but I would highly recommend that you meet with somebody, an exercise physiologist or someone who is expert in the types of issues that you have. You're already doing armchair exercises, which I would definitely recommend you continue doing. I would also recommend that you push yourself just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. So let's say, for example, if you're using the resistance bands, to push yourself to the next level, to using a resistant bands that's a little higher resistance, or tightening it with your hands so that you can pull. When you pull, it's a little more resistance than what you've been doing in the past. Or if you're doing anything with weights, see if you can step it up a notch. So let's say you've been 2 or 3 pounds, maybe go up to 4 pounds, and just gradually increase that a little, because that will help increase your strength. But yeah, in terms of other exercises and so forth, I think that a visit with an exercise physiologist, even to suggest some things that you can do at home so you don't have to go somewhere all the time, would be really helpful. And if you are on Medicare, I don't know if you are, but if you're on Medicare, see if your health plan offers you an opportunity to enlist in silver sneakers, which in many cases is free, and see what options they would have for you that way, so that you are kind of looking at different options. I mean, armchair exercises are always a good thing. I mean, even if it feels like, oh gosh, I can't do my legs, but I would seriously consider looking, talking to someone and finding out if there are some special activities that, I'm not aware. I'm not an exercise physiologist, so I don't know if there's a special machine or something that's doing that can do some of that exercise for you. But I think that would be a really good place for you to start. And definitely check into Silver Sneakers if you haven't already, to see what options you have there through that program that could very well be covered completely for you.
Those are great ideas. My background actually includes exercise physiology, and I think they are underused, either that or a physical
Yes.
therapist to help you. So I hate to say this, but we are out of time. And we
No.
have a ton of questions left on our queue. We could do this again, obviously. So,
Yeah.
but Teresa, could you give us 3 key takeaway points you want to make sure that our listeners take home from this discussion today?
Okay. Yeah. It's the holidays. And in whatever holiday you celebrate, there are a lot of things going on these days. And I think the most important thing is to prioritize what's most important to you. What do you want out of this? I mean, if let's say, and for me, I'm Norwegian, so this is a time of year that I get lefse, and many of you may not even know what that is, but it's basically a flat bread made with potatoes, and we spread it with butter and sugar and roll it up, and believe me, it's all carb, right? With the exception of the butter, it's all carb. And I couldn't do the holidays without this. This is special. Where everybody always looks at me. If I showed up and or I'm having everybody at my house and I didn't have it here, they'd be like, Teresa, where's the left stuff? So prioritize what's most important to you. If it's a piece of pie or whatever it is, and then bring something to share. If you're going to somebody's house, bring something that you know you can eat. Just talk to the host and say, hey, I'd love to bring something along. And you might even tell the host, if the host doesn't know that you have diabetes, just say that. They don't have to announce it to everybody else, but to just say, to make sure that I've got something to eat, I'd be happy to bring a dish to share with everyone else. So you can do that. And then, and I may actually have 4. So the other one is to suggest an activity. So if no one else has brought up the idea of going to take a walk or going ice skating or snowshoeing, wherever you are, just suggest that. Hey, would anybody like to go? Now, not everybody needs to go, but if you can get 1 or 2 people to go along with you, then go and do your exercise, get your walk in or whatever it is that you get in. And then probably most importantly, enjoy yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's going to be bad enough if you've got those diabetes police that are sort of hounding you, but you don't need to hound yourself. So be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, and do whatever you can to enjoy whatever you're doing with your family. Just enjoy it. So those are my last few words.
Thank you so much. Thanks for all the great questions you called and wrote in with. We're so sorry we were unable to get to all your questions during this live Q&A event. I guess we have to have Teresa come back to answer more of these questions. If you have questions about this event, you are welcome to contact us at askada@diabetes.org or calling 1-800-342-2383. Now, please stay on the line for our survey to help us with future planning for our events. Thriving with Diabetes takes a team, and we're here to support you. Special thanks to Teresa Pearson. I am Carla Cox, and on behalf of the ADA team, we want to thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to connecting with you at our next events. Join us for more KDBH events, January 10, Self-Advocacy Taking the Lead, February 24, Prevention and Treatment of Heart Disease and Stroke. Stay tuned to a whole new slate of topics for 2023. Now, please stay on the line and take our survey. Thank you. All right, for our survey, thank you for participating in the American Diabetes Association Ask the Experts event. We hope that you benefited from your experience. Please stay on the line to complete a survey about the event. Your valuable feedback is essential for us to reach our program goals and improve future events. All responses will remain confidential. So question number 1, please rate the extent to which you felt the event met your expectations. For did not meet my expectations, press 1. For somewhat met my expectations, press 2. For moderately met my expectations, press 3. For met my expectations, press 4. And for exceeded my expectations, press 5. Question 1 again. Please rate the extent to which you felt the event met your expectations. For did not meet my expectations, press 1. For somewhat met my expectations, press 2. For moderately met my expectations, press 3. For met my expectations, press 4. And for exceeded my expectations, press 5. If you think you could use support to manage your diabetes, check out our Living with Diabetes program, where you can receive email information and e-brochures with tips on eating, fitness, and emotional health. Check out our registration page, diabetes.org/experts. Okay, question number 2. After attending this event, do you plan to attend a future Ask the Experts event? For yes, press 1. For no, press 2. And for not sure, press 3. Again, question number 2. After attending this event, do you plan to attend a future Ask the Experts event? For yes, press 1. For no, press 2. And for not sure, press 3. People with diabetes have a higher risk of retinopathy than those without diabetes. Be sure to get your annual eye exam. Early detection can save your vision. Question number 3. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. By attending the event, I gained knowledge on the presented topics. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Again, question number 3. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. By attending the event, I gained knowledge on the presented topic. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. You can find delicious and healthy recipes and menus to improve your diet. Visit the website www.diabetesfoodhub.org. Going on to question 4. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. The knowledge I gained is relevant to my loved one's diabetes. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Again, question number 4. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. The knowledge I gained is relevant to my loved one's diabetes. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Did you know that there are approximately 37 million Americans with diabetes? You are certainly not alone. Okay, question number 5. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. I feel confident that I can apply the knowledge I gained to help manage my loved one's diabetes. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Again, question number 5. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. I feel confident that I can apply the knowledge I gained to help manage my loved one's diabetes. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Check out the heart disease risk calculator at https://www.cvriskcalculator.com and find out if you are at risk for heart disease. Okay, question number 6. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. I intend to use the knowledge I gained in a new or future appointment with a healthcare professional. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Question number 6 again. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. I intend to use the knowledge I gained in a new or future appointment with a healthcare professional. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Did you know that there are approximately 250,000 people in the United States with diabetes-related kidney failure? Talk to your healthcare provider about your risks. Get tested and prevent diabetes kidney failure. Okay, on to question 7. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. Attending this event promoted my feelings of belonging and community. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Again, question number 7. Please rate your agreement with the following statement. Attending this event promoted my feelings of belonging and community. For disagree, press 1. For somewhat disagree, press 2. For neither agree nor disagree, press 3. For somewhat agree, press 4. And for agree, press 5. Diabetes education programs provide services that address your diabetes concerns and will empower you with the knowledge and skills to manage your diabetes. You can find a program near you by visiting diabetes.org/experts. Okay, on to question 8. Before participating in this event, how confident did you feel speaking with a healthcare professional about your loved one's increased risk for heart disease and stroke? For not at all confident, press 1. For not very confident, press 2. For neutral, press 3. For somewhat confident, press 4. And for very confident, press 5. Question number 8 again. Before participating in this event, how confident did you feel speaking with a healthcare professional about your or your loved one's increased risk for heart disease and stroke? For not at all confident, press 1. For not very confident, press 2. For neutral, press 3. For somewhat confident, press 4. And for very confident, press 5. Keeping glucose within the target range of 70 to 180 milligrams per deciliter 70% or more of the time is the international recommendation for diabetes management. Consider asking your provider about getting a continuous glucose monitor, CGM, to help you control and manage your glucose. Question number 9. After participating in this event, how confident do you now feel speaking with a healthcare professional about your or your loved one's increased risk for heart disease and stroke? For not at all confident, press 1. For not very confident, press 2. For neutral, press 3. For somewhat confident, press 4. And for very confident, press 5. Question number 9 again. After participating in this event, how confident do you now feel speaking with a healthcare professional about your loved one's or your increased risk for heart disease and stroke? For not at all confident, press 1. For not very confident, press 2. For neutral, press 3. For somewhat confident, press 4. And for very confident, press 5. Physical activity is an important part of reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease and promotes psychological well-being. If you find it difficult to move due to injuries or chronic pain, ask for a referral to a physical therapist to work with you to find a program that works for you. Okay, so now we have some questions such as demographics. We strive to create our program and services that represent the full diversity of ADA community. We are asking the following questions about demographics to ensure that we are meeting this goal. Gender. Please select which of the following describes you. For women, press 1. For a man, press 2. For non-binary, press 3. For prefer not to answer, press 4. Once again, your gender. For a woman, press 1. For a man, press 2. For non-binary, press 3. And for prefer not to answer, press 4. By not using tobacco products, keeping your glucose, blood pressure, and lipids within target levels, you can reduce your risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Okay, question on generation. Please select which of the following best describes you. For silent, born between 1928 to 1945, press 1. For boomer, born between 1946 and 1964, press 2. For Generation X, born between 1965 and 1990, press 3. For millennial, born between 1981 and 1996, press 4. For Generation Z, born between 1997 and 2012, press 5. For I prefer not to answer, press 6. Question on generation again. Please select which of the following best describes you. For silent, born between 1928 and 1945, press 1. For boomer, born between 1946 and 1964, press 2. For Generation X born between 1965 and 1980, press 3. For Millennial born between 1981 and 1996, press 4. For Generation Z born between 1997 and 2012, press 5. And prefer not to answer, press 6. We hope you've enjoyed this Ask the Expert program and that you'll join us again next month for another session with an expert. Check out our calendar at diabetes.org/experts. All right, race and ethnicity. This is the last question. Please select which of the following best describes you. For African American or Black, press 1. For American Indian or Alaska Native, press 2. For Asian or Asian American, press 3. For Hispanics, Latinx, or Spanish origin, press 4. For Middle Easterner or North African, press 5. For Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, press 6. For white, press 7. For prefer not to answer, press 8. Race and ethnicity. Please select which of the following best describes you. For African American or Black, press 1. For American Indian or Alaska Native, press 2. For Asian or Asian American, press 3. For Hispanic, Latinx, or Spanish origin, press 4. For Middle Eastern or North African, press 5. For Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, press 6. For white, press 7. And for prefer not to answer, press 8. Thank you so much for answering these questions. Please join us again at a future Ask the Experts event. To learn more, go to diabetes.org/experts. Again, that is diabetes.org/experts.